Welcome to the Wodesman podcast, catching up with all things bushcraft, wild camping and the great outdoors.
It's that sound again.
It is that sound again. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm very good, bro.
Good.
Better than I've been for a long time. Feeling very good, renewed, refreshed, energised.
Yeah.
How about you?
Exactly the same. I've had a lovely day. We're back in the woods, aren't we?
We are. We're under a nice canopy of hornbeam, poplar, a big old oak, and some hazel as well.
It's been a lovely day, and it's just nice to be back here by the fireside with you.
Oh yes, we've got a
Cracking
nice
brew.
big hardwood fire crackling alongside us. We've got, what have we got? Vocation, hop, skip and juice.
And I'm on some Planet Pale Ale from Brewdog.
Oh,
Yeah.
good drop.
Good IPA, like Pale Ale. So, for all of you fans of the Pale Ale, well, that's what we're drinking.
It is. We always like to start it with a little cheers.
Yeah, we
because
do.
it's always a bit of a celebration when we get in the woods together. It's always nice to sort of meet up and do what we love. Yeah, it's been a busy old time for us both, hasn't it? I've been really busy at work.
Yeah. Flat out.
Flat out. So I ended up running some outdoor classroom activities for the year sixes as
Yeah.
a sort of send off.
You
So
sent me like a few little snippets of the kind of things that you've been building, like little mini mini shelters, and it's awesome. Really,
so
really,
we had
I wanted
them-
to be a student. I always say that.
So we had it where we set up the little outdoor classroom. It's a London primary school, so we've not got much outdoor space, but
That's why it's so important.
we got like 2 or 3 trees and a little garden. And so between those 2 trees I strung up a tarp. I then demonstrated little miniature model shelters of different styles. So like a one-man lean-to, an A-frame.
And you had your little models that you'd carved.
Yeah, I had
and-
my
and
little men
painted.
that I'd carved to show them, and then I split them up into little groups, and then they had to see if they could make a shelter for my guy. We had them coming up with really creative shelters. I mean,
I love
some
that.
of them were more
Arty.
bushcrafty and realistic than others, but we had some interesting teepees. We had some that were thatched with a single leaf.
I love that. To get them wet.
Yeah, but we in doing the model making, we were able to talk about things like how you'd want a shelter that wasn't so big that you'd have to heat up masses of air.
Yeah, of course.
We talked about sort of different designs of shelter, the why you need shelter. So heat loss, we talked about, sort of tied it in with science, convection, conduction,
Yeah, that's
radiation. And just made a real afternoon of it, really, and it was such a nice thing to be able to share that with the kids. And then we did a sort of role play task where they had to choose some items to survive in a woods.
Oh, brilliant.
And come up with a character and things like that of their survivor.
So
And
really
I demonstrated
engaging.
I even demonstrated bow drill to them, and like it was just really cool to see like the sort of interest that they showed in what I was showing them.
Well, it's
So,
that little bit of magic for them.
Yeah.
Like seeing friction fire.
yeah.
I remember seeing it as a child, and I was like, what? That is so amazing. Like, wow. And then it just captured me. So the fact as well, you just said something at the beginning where you said you strung up your tarp just between the 2 available things, and it just is again another demonstration
Yeah.
of like using what you have.
Yeah, I
which is
taught
cool.
them the clove hitch and an overhand knot, just as 2 basic knots that they could practice
Go
with a
away
bit of
with,
string and
yeah.
go away from the afternoon. It was just a bit of fun. They'd finished their SATs, they'd finished their tests, they'd worked hard, and it was a little reward to them
Yeah.
to have an afternoon with me in the outdoor classroom learning a bit of bushcraft.
Yeah.
And the school liked it so much because some of my senior staff sort of heard about what I'd done,
Yeah.
and they've actually asked me now to do different theme days next
Hey,
year. So
brilliant.
I'm going to be doing everything from tribal skills for a class that are studying African sort of native cultures.
Awesome.
So I'm going to have to swat
Hand
up
drilling
on
and-
hand drill, all that sort of stuff, and so I'm going to have to learn a lot. It's going to push me because I'm going to have to learn about different cultures like the Hadza and people like that.
That's so interesting though, and like there's some really good, Ray Mears documentaries to go look back at where he visits the Hadza.
I can't wait.
It's great.
So it's given me motivation to learn more so that I can pass on that knowledge to the younger kids. We're going to do a Stone Age day, so I'm not a very good flint napper. Last time I did it, I popped my air mat. But
No, I remember that. It
but
was so bad.
I mean, it's again giving me impetus to practice that skill,
Yeah.
and I'll be then demonstrating it to the kids. I'll hopefully be able to make it will be rough, but hopefully I'll be able to make an arrowhead, and I want
a
to
hand axe or something.
Yeah, just to show them flaking off of a core and like micro chipping, or what's that called?
Like pressure flaking.
Pressure flaking, that's
Yeah.
it. So show them a bit of that.
Nice.
You made me the nice antler hammer
And
as
in
well.
fact, I found the brass rod finally for the
sick.
for the pressure flaker. So I found that today when I was looking for the frying pan.
Nice,
So,
bro.
Yeah. So I'm going to be making you that as well.
That would be very handy for
Yeah,
that demo.
definitely.
Thanks, bro.
That's amazing though. It's so good that the school has decided to give you kind of
Yeah.
that creative reign as well.
Yeah, well,
which is nice.
they've recognised that I've got a skill set and an interest there, and they've actually put it in their school development plan.
Yeah, well, it's
of
so important.
using my skills while I'm there to develop their outdoor classroom and their sort of ability to share beyond the classroom learning. And
Yeah,
I think
'cause
it's a really cool
not
that
wasting
they've
your talent.
Yeah, I think it's really cool they've recognised it and are happy to give me a bit of free rein to tie in things when we have a spare afternoon at the end of the year or something.
Yeah,
So
that's nice.
pretty cool. While we're on the
awesome.
topic of schools, actually, I also managed to get away with a group, and we did a week in the
You did?
outdoors.
Yeah, you went canoeing and everything.
I did,
didn't
yeah.
you?
So we took them canoeing. I sunk one of the kids' boats because we had a splash war. So me and one of the other kids teamed up on another kid who thought he could try and sink me, and we filled his boat with water, sunk him. That was funny.
That's brilliant.
He found it funny. I wasn't just bullying a 10-year-old.
No, they love it. Bit of
But yeah,
mischief.
we had everything from some kids that really struggled with it and found it scary. So we had it was me following them in a boat,
Yeah.
canoeing myself, and really trying to sort of comfort that kid and really encourage them. And actually, we took her out of the boat. She found the Canadian canoe too tippy.
Yeah.
So we took her out of that, and the instructors found her a kayak.
Nice.
And she went back out, so all props to her. It was really nice to see that development over the day.
Awesome.
But we did archery, we did climbing, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, you had a proper adventure week then.
Oh, it was amazing. We even did dry slope skiing. I've never
Yeah,
skied in my
brilliant.
life,
Oh,
so
I bet that was fun.
I was having an absolute laugh. We did bushcraft with them there as well. The instructors on the place showed them like wire wool and batteries. They showed them ferrocerium rods. I demonstrated some natural materials because they were using just cotton wool.
Nice.
So I sort of had a word with the instructor and just said, look, I'm a bushcrafter. I've got some fat wood and some birch bark.
Yeah.
And
Can
can I have a little 2 minutes at the end just to show them that
Yeah.
these skills can be taken even further?
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
the guys were fine with me showing them. I was like, I didn't want to tread on toes, but I was like so excited to share what I
I
love.
that.
So
That's amazing.
it was good. We did it, archery. That was fun.
That reminds me of like all of my scout days as well. You know, like when I was a child, enthralled by all this outdoor stuff. Those were the kind of trips that always stuck with me. And it was always nice when you had a teacher or, one of the assistants who was passionate about it, because you got that buzz off them. So I can imagine you're exactly the same.
Oh, I try and be.
Yeah, because you've been like buzzing on the archery as well. So
Oh,
that
absolutely.
probably
So-
set off a little spark in you.
Yeah, so I on Wodesman, was it last episode or the episode before where we talked about bush illusions?
Yes, I think that
And-
one before.
Yeah, the one before, and I said that I used to do archery a lot and I missed it,
Yes.
and that was going to be an extra bush illusion for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listeners, I haven't let you down. I have thrown myself in at the deep end with archery again. I have I started again on my flat bow and retaught myself the technique. I actually changed from split finger to 3-finger under.
Yeah, it's good.
So I found that really changed things up. I changed how I was holding the bow,
Nice.
and it's just completely improved my form. And I've really been reading up on it. I've been watching a lot of archery videos.
Nice.
Clay Haynes,
Yeah.
I think that's his name. He's a bow
Cameron
and
Haynes?
Cameron Haynes.
Yes, Cameron Haynes,
Yeah,
yeah.
brilliant. He's a
He's
bow
amazing.
hunter,
Yeah.
bow,
incredible.
all sorts of stuff. Really
He's
cool
just-
guy.
Just insane. Yeah.
I've been learning a lot from him.
His audiobook actually, his book. He read it as well for his audiobook, which is even.
I'll
more
have to
cool,
listen to that.
because the author reading is just always nicer, isn't it? To be honest, because they put the emphasis where it's needed
Yes.
in the story. So like.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got Ray
Oh, that's a
Mears'
good
new audiobook actually to listen to because
Yeah.
he's reading that as well.
Oh, is he? Nice.
Yeah,
I need
so,
to check that out.
It's British Woodland.
Nice.
So
yeah,
quite
Cam,
fitting.
Cam Haynes one, like, it's all about his journey, like, to where he is now and why he does what he does, because he's obviously ultra marathon runner.
Yeah,
like,
he's mad. He's
mental,
amazing.
like you say. But all
Very
of his,
good teacher as well.
Yeah, and all
his
of his
videos
training
are great.
just goes in towards being a better bow hunter, so he
Yeah.
can do that shot, and he like shoots at 120 yards for a kill shot.
Yeah.
So when he goes hunting at 40 yards, it's a guarantee every
Yeah.
time. And it's just like, I
Yeah.
love that ethos as well.
Oh, he's very conscious of not wounding the animal.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
wants to drop, and I've seen videos where he has dropped deer and they haven't even moved.
Yeah.
Like they've just gone down.
Yeah, literally. It's
Um,
amazing. Testament to him as well. And that's why you're like want to practice, even though we can't bow hunt over here.
It's nice to know you've got that skill.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's like we've been practicing air rifle today.
We
haven't
have,
we,
yeah,
as well? So
yeah.
it's again a nice crossover. We can't or haven't had the opportunity to hunt in most woodlands.
No,
you know.
But
so
you
like,
have the permission now of the landowner, so
I do.
we'll
Yeah.
get onto that later. But you've got the permission here to hunt small game.
Yeah. we do.
So we've been out with our air rifles. We haven't actually seen any pigeon or rabbit or anything today.
Yes.
But what we have seen, I've seen a deer,
Yeah.
and we found a lot of sign.
Yeah, I saw
so-
some badger scat as well.
Yeah, I found a little fox den as
Nice.
well.
Oh, brilliant.
So there's definitely animals here. Me and Sam saw, my brother Sam, who's here with us as well. We saw a deer just running on the track as we drove in.
Yeah.
So definitely,
I've even seen a pigeon egg and a pigeon kill site. You know, where Fox
Yes.
has obviously taken a pigeon up there. So
yeah. So there's
it's definitely very
definitely
active.
there's definitely game here, and we are allowed to take it. So
It's
we
nice.
will
Yeah,
at
and
some
it's,
point.
it's nice that you've like gone back to archery as well, because it's like with the catapult shooting, you know, the air rifles, archery,
Yeah.
they all go hand in hand. There's training that eye.
Absolutely.
It's a discipline of
The patience, the release,
Yeah, exactly. That's
the
why
re-
I love stalking.
the ability to repeat
Yeah.
the same action and
Repetition.
keep it consistent.
Yeah, and even we were noticing like, our zeros were slightly off at this range, you know,
Yeah.
and we were calculating where they were,
Where
and
the hold
making
was.
adjustments. So, and it was nice to see that we were being really consistent.
Yeah, because you had to hold about a 5p piece down at
Yeah.
20 metres.
Yeah.
And I had to hold slightly to the left, but I was on in terms of height.
Yeah, exactly.
So we both learned the holds, and then we were just knocking them down every time, weren't we?
Yeah, it's really good fun actually, and it's nice. It's just nice to get out and do it. Too often, like these kind of things stay in the cupboard. You know, when you're
Yeah.
a bushcrafter, you
And
get
they are
them
perishable skills.
Yeah.
Like they are things you do need to practice. So with the bow, I started with my flat bow that I used to shoot at the club.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. If you want to see me shoot that, there is a video on my channel.
A very nice one.
Thank you. Then I got me and Emma a recurve, and I got 2 pairs of limbs for it. I got a Samick Sage, so I got 30-pound limbs that we can both pull, and I got 50-pound limbs for me, so
Yeah.
I can have because obviously I'm quite a big boy, so
You
I
want a bit of
can
resistance.
I can pull a fair amount.
Don't want to feel like you're going to break it.
No, I like to be able to feel the power of the thing.
Yeah.
So I wanted slightly heavier limbs, and I've got arrows matched to the different spines for
Nice.
those 2 poundages. And then obviously both of those are traditional archery,
Yeah.
and I wanted to also expand my repertoire and my knowledge.
Hey.
So I invested in a compound.
Good man, the mechanically advantaged.
Yeah, so
archer.
like everyone knows me, I love my traditional gear, but I also like my modern
Oh, it's
tactical
just,
stuff.
once you go compound, it's hard to go back.
It's crazy. It's like the accuracy is just ridiculous, and
Yeah.
the power.
Yes.
So I've got a 60-pound bear Species EV,
It's quite scary the first time you pull it back.
and it's got an 80% let off. So you
Oh.
pull it back, and then it feels like you're holding nothing.
Like £15 almost.
Yeah, and then like if you try and let that bow down, it like wants to just go.
Yeah,
It's like
it's pulling that
it's
shoulder out.
quite a scary bit of kit, really. But
It's basically a firearm with strings.
yeah,
isn't it?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
and
is-
you can just see the lethality of it.
Yeah.
Like just firing at a target, and then you pull it out of your bag target that's rated for crossbows. So it's rated for like the most powerful crossbows,
Yeah.
and it goes in like 8 inches. It's like you're just pulling it out, and I was like, I actually am quite glad I didn't get the £70 that I was looking
Oh,
at,
yeah.
because I was like, I just don't need it here.
No, you
like
don't need-
£60 is plenty, considering
yeah.
I think £40 is like the sort of legal limit in America to hunt with. I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Correct me
something
if
around
I'm
that.
wrong, listeners. I'm not American, and I don't hunt with my bows.
You know, I
but-
think
£40-45, something along those lines is enough.
Yeah, and definitely your 60 would be more than capable.
100%.
Especially with a good broadhead on it as well.
Yeah,
so.
I've seen people test them in ballistic gels and it's just devastating. Like full pass-throughs.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about archery as well. There's so many kind of like different aspects to it. So like you said, you've got the really traditional, then you've got the kind of semi, like more modern, like the recurves.
Yeah, the takedown bows, like the Samick.
And then you go to like the compound. It's a completely different beast, but using the same asset, same
skills,
same skill set of training that hand-to-eye coordination, really. Yeah. And then
you've even got the real traditional, the self bows.
Oh yeah,
which is something I haven't attempted yet, but I'm going to hopefully at some point make my own bow.
I have never made my own bow that's been like of any decent poundage or any, it's only just been like a mess around thing when I was a child, really. So it'd be something I'd love to do. I know Joe Poshrak, one of our good friends, he's been making some really good ones, getting some like 40 pounds, and nice. Josh Feardwoods, he's made some good like rawhide backed ones, which are really impressive.
That's pretty cool.
Paleo kind of style, or it's amazing, kind of big rabbit hole archery, isn't it?
I'm fully invested.
I do need to get back into it, because I was shooting quite consistently like a year or two ago. Got all my certification to go to clubs and stuff, and then
me too.
I think just like I said, I had a compound that was gifted to me, and it's like a vintage kind of early 90s compound.
Yeah,
it's got the
cables in it.
Yeah, it's got steel cables, so I'm always like, man,
lethal.
If that breaks one day, that's just going to be like hands off or fingers off. So I think I'm going to put that one to be just an ornament. And,
I mean, I'd recommend looking at Bear Archery. I mean, I'm a massive fan of them. I followed them on Instagram for years.
Awesome.
And it's just like the history behind the company, and Fred Bear as a bow hunter.
Hunt bear with it. Does he?
Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
I bet he does.
But
I bet he loves hunting bear with the bow.
But yeah, he designed the camo that I chose on my bow.
Oh, that's awesome. So it's even more personal.
It's called Fred Bear Camo.
Cool.
But yeah, my compound, it's not cheap, but it's good kit. And
good kit lasts a long time. We've learned that the hard way. I'm sure we both bought cheap gear.
Yes.
And it hasn't lasted,
100%.
And then you say, well, I might as well have just bought the XYZ, the better brands, or invest money in good kit.
And then use it, and
don't
be afraid to use it.
Yeah, and it's not snobbery. Like at the end of the day, I've still got my Mora that I started. We've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
But now I've got like a Wilder Ways Hiradashi on my neck, ABL stainless steel. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I've got
it's
my.
A lovely toy.
It's beautiful.
It's
mate.
really nice.
And the bevel on it is incredible.
Yeah,
I was having to play with it.
I'm not the best at feathers, and this kicks out some amazing feathers.
I think you do yourself a disservice there, mate. Your feathers are very good.
But your Essie.
Yeah, I've got my SE5 on me, and I've also got my Fired Woods Evo Pro in AEBL.
Another beautiful knife.
And both of them, I like with the SE, I put it in the dirt, I smash it through ridiculous sized logs that a knife of this size should not be able to cut.
Yeah.
And it was an investment, but it will last, and it will do the job.
That's the thing. Like things like that warrant the price because they're just good quality. They're well designed, they're well thought out, and I always think, like, a lot of people kind of say some bushcrafters can come off a bit snobby, and I know this.
Yeah, I've had comments. I've had comments before telling me to stop using my fancy toys.
But once you realise you buy once,
buy once, cry once.
Buy once, cry once. Exactly.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the term.
I got you, mate.
Yeah, you do. You always got me, man. But no, it's that's it. And I don't think it is snobbery. Once you've learnt that, that's another lesson of bushcraft, and it's another thing. That goes hand in hand with your skill, doesn't it? As your skills develop, it's like the Dunning-Kruger effect, like Joe says. You kind of start off thinking, I've got all the knowledge. You kind of have the cheap gear. You think you got all the knowledge. You go out. You think, actually, the cheap kit isn't the way to go. The backpacks fell apart halfway up the mountain.
But then again, like, if you can't afford an SE, there are alternatives that are cheaper. So the Mora.
And it's looking at researched things.
Yeah, it's researching and finding the best kit you can afford.
Yeah.
Whatever your price range.
Yeah.
And then actually not being afraid to use it. Because I think
the mistake. And
knowing their limitations, like a rat tail tang, for example, isn't going to be as strong as a full tang.
Not for batoning.
But it's perfectly serviceable for feather sticks, food prep,
All the rest of
game
camping.
prep,
Yeah.
anything else, it's fully game for.
Yeah.
I think the thing I made a mistake of when I first got into bushcraft is I bought like an adventure sworn. I saved up for it. Like, I'm not made of money. I don't have many other hobbies.
Yeah.
The outdoors is my hobby, and I save up for the stuff I buy.
Yeah. Well, you only live once.
And yeah, you only live once. Exactly. I'm always getting in trouble for spending all of my money when I get paid.
But you always use the thing that you bought as well.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting to, is don't be afraid to use what you've bought, because I think at first when I got into it, I bought something nice, and I was too scared to use it because I was worried about damaging it. I was worried about sharpening the adventure sworn. I was worried about rusting it.
Yep.
So I was always using my cheaper knife and then having the nice adventure sworn on my hip, untouched. And then it was when I realised that actually, no, this is stupid. I've invested in this tool.
Yeah, I need to use it.
I need to use it. Then I realised, and I just started really harnessing that tool to the full ability of it.
Yeah, and that's what was nice about today, dude. Like, you know, we used the air rifles that we both had. You've had yours for like
10 years.
10
years, yeah.
Mine's 2 years. I've had it now, the R10, but I had the Ultra for ages before that, probably about the same 10 years. So it was the first time we've actually got out with them together.
Yeah.
It was just nice to rekindle that, and again think, actually, you know, why don't I use this as much as I should, really? And so that's why it's nice to see you. You know, you've bought the bow. I've seen you go out with it a few times.
Yeah. I used it in the rain the other day.
Yeah.
I didn't care that it got soaked.
Well, it is,
because it's a tool.
Dude, if you were hunting, like,
yeah,
and
that's what I tell myself.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, I could easily be like, oh no, it's raining, I'm not taking my nice fancy bow out.
But you
no,
also know
I'm
how to
putting
look
it down
after
on the
it as well.
ground. I'm putting it down on the ground. I'm using it as I would if I was hunting with it. I'm not being precious of it.
Yeah.
But then I get back, I wax the string, I
Yeah.
dry the limbs, the riser,
Perfect.
and I make sure it's not put away wet.
Yeah.
And that the strings are not damaged or anything, and I make sure I do my maintenance, and I clean
oil,
the arrows,
oil it all up and everything.
and as a result, it will last.
Good man.
And it will just show the patina of my use,
Yeah.
and that tells its own story, which I think is pretty cool.
It's a little heirloom at that point.
You've
Like
picked
you
up
say.
some patina on your body, haven't you?
I have indeed.
Just to move the conversation on.
I have become a slight pink tinge on my hands and my top of my ears and my nose and my forehead, really, and that is all due to an allergic, well, not an allergic reaction, but a reaction to doxycycline, which is an antibiotic I'm on, and I'm all on that due to a little blighter that bit me, and that's a tick.
Ugh.
So yeah, when I was at the Wodesman festival, which I'll quickly digress about after this little chat about the Lyme's disease.
Yeah.
So I don't think I have Lyme's disease, but I did get bitten by a tick,
Yeah.
which was on there for probably about three days until I noticed, because it was in quite a precarious position in the
can
groin
say
area.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, obviously didn't notice. They give off like an anaesthetic when they bite, so you
don't really feel them,
you
do you?
don't really feel
No.
them. So when I noticed, and it had been on for a long time, I decided to go to the doctors, because about a day after I removed it, it still was quite agitated in that area. So then they said, look, we've got to do a blood test. That takes up to 3 weeks, so we have to do a precautionary dose of doxycycline. So there I am. First day, I take these 2 tablets of doxycycline, feel really sick.
Mm.
So the next day I was like, oh, I'll have it after food. So half an hour after food, had the doxycycline, was basically sick like 15 minutes later.
Bless you.
So it really made me quite sick. So then I was like, right, I've got to figure a way to do this. So I started off after that every morning kind of having a bit of milk, getting the tablets down me, and managed to work my way around getting these blasted tablets into me. So there I am working up a chimney, repointing in the kind of, it's not been too sunny really, but it's the UV's been quite high, and it's been fairly warm but overcast. And I always wear a long sleeve shirt at work anyway. And then the day after work, I realise I'm walking back in the evening, taking a nice stroll, and I'm like, oh, is it raining? I'm like, why can I feel like, it feels like really cold water droplets all over my hands? And then it just kept going on, and I thought, oh, something's really strange. Am I having a stroke or something? Like, my whole hands are tingling. And then when I got inside, I kind of looked down, because it had been so dark outside. My hands were just so bright pink.
Mm. And
I've
they're
been
still really red now. Like, you guys can't see them, but they're They're pretty sore looking.
Yeah, they're really tender and quite inflamed. Like,
Yeah,
in the
because you were
areas.
even in pain putting your tarp up just using your hands,
Oh,
weren't
mate,
you?
I was pulling the rope, and because the rope was chafing when I was doing like the evank hitch and stuff
Yeah.
like that, it was like the pain of it was just like someone rubbing sandpaper across my hand.
Yeah. So
and that's all a reaction to the antibiotics.
So they've made you like photosensitive.
Yeah, literally phototoxic. So
Right.
I'm a redhead anyway, so I burn at the best of times. So I've been covering up in factor 50 ever since that day when I realised, I read the medication that said avoid the sun even on cloudy days, and I'm like, oh Christ, that's hard for me because I'm
Yeah,
out
you're
in
a
the
brickie.
sun all
You're
day.
out in literally for full days.
And I'm already a
on the top
redhead.
of a building.
I'm already the palest of pales. So I've been out there in the factor 50, like gloves on, under the, factor 50 on, then gloves on, like a big wide brimmed hat with the like back on and everything. And I'm still getting sunburnt, and yeah, it's just been brutal, but all down to a potential tick and Lyme disease. But hopefully I think in the future we'll do an episode all about Lyme's disease.
Yeah, I think that would be good because it's definitely something that you need to be aware of if you're going out and camping.
Yeah, I didn't notice, I'd prepped the deer, I'd removed all the ticks from the deer because there was a few on it. It's inevitable. Grallicked it at the Wilderness Festival, so I did a deer butchery and kind of talk on the process of tanning, butchery, field dressing, and just general preparation like cooking venison as well. So I did this in front of a group of like 40, 50
I saw
people.
some clips of it, bro, because I couldn't be there, but I was really felt like I'd missed out, and sadly it collided with the course I was running.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I saw clips of your teaching, and I have to say it was brilliant. So well done.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, it was really, really a nice way to open up that kind of world to me, because I'd never done that before, grallicked or skinned a deer in front of people or butchered a deer. So I was doing the whole kind of process. So it's, normally I'm doing that in my utility room on my own and kind of annoying my parents saying, come in and have a look at this bit I've cut off.
I can just imagine your parents now when you just hanging a deer up in
This is the thing.
your dad coming in and just be like, right.
Yeah, man. So it's like so nice to do that, and the crowd was so welcoming, which was really nice. But yeah, of course, the bloody one of the ticks obviously got up my trouser leg, crawled all the way up my groin, and
had a good old suck.
Had a good old time on me. But yeah, I mean, onto the Wilderness quickly. I know it was gutting that you couldn't make it, and a lot of people were like, "Where's Tom?" And I said, "Oh, unfortunately he was booked this weekend way in advance, couldn't make it," which is obviously the case, and I do know that carving course went really well.
It did. It went great. Yeah, I had 4 in the end.
Yeah.
Which was really nice, and they were a good group. They were a competent group.
Awesome.
And we got a lot done, so it was really nice.
And it was nice because, despite obviously you not being there, I could still. You knew. Obviously Ryan was going there. A Wolf's blog. He's
shout out to him.
Yeah, he's been contacting you. So
yeah.
While
Legend.
I was busy running around the festival, you were getting some kind of pictures from him.
Yeah.
I gave you a few calls. It was just nice. It was a really good festival, good vibe, and
yeah, it's brilliant.
For the first one we did, we had such a good turnout, and I just want to say a massive thank you to all of the listeners who did come. I know there was quite a few of you. Big thank you to Joe and Ida coming all the way over from Sweden and Ireland alike. Big journey. It was so nice to meet him as well.
Yeah,
honestly.
I bet. I was
nice.
really gutted I couldn't be there, and especially to meet him.
But you know what was gutting as well for me was there was only probably 2 or 3 times I actually managed to get to sit down and chat with him, and it was always like a fleeting kind of thing, because I had one of the walkie-talkies on. It was like I'd sit down and then suddenly it'd be like, someone's turned up at the gate, we need to get their tickets sorted. And because there was only 5 of us running the whole thing, it was a big undertaking.
Yeah, massive. Well, props to you guys for doing it, because you did such a good job with the organisation. So well done to all the organisers of Wilderness.
Yeah, it was nice to see all the stalls as well. Like Ellie got to do a little stall as well.
Beautiful ceramics.
Yeah, she's doing really well, bless her. So we'll have to get her on in the future.
Definitely.
About some pottery bits.
No, I'd love that. That'd be great.
But yeah, next year you'll be there, and of course there's so many good things coming, because where are we exactly, Tom? I know we said we're in the woods and we're surrounded by hornbeams and oaks
we
and
are
poplars.
we're surrounded by the nature. And actually, touching on Joe Price, I've talked about him coming here with us
and
at some point.
Here's a special place, isn't it?
He is very game. So we are actually I really don't know how to tell you guys this, because this is like the biggest thing I've ever announced ever.
It is.
Apart from getting engaged. Sorry, Emma, didn't.
I'm not saying
almost. So yeah, this is like a huge thing for me. I've achieved a lifelong dream that I've had since I was a child, and dreamed of having my own little place in nature to escape to, my own woods. We are in my woods.
We are in your woods, and honestly, it's been so hard not to say that the whole bloody podcast. Because
like the last 3 or 4 times that we've recorded, the only person that knew I was looking at buying a Woodland was Liam.
Yep.
And like I kept nearly dropping hints that there was something in the works, but then I was so scared that it would fall through.
Oh, there's just so much litigious stuff to go through, isn't there?
There really is. There's so much to consider. There's so many loopholes. There's not loopholes, hoops you have to jump through.
Yeah.
So much stuff you have to do with the lawyers, but we've got it all done, and this is now mine. This is in me and Emma's name.
And it just feels like home already, man. Honestly,
it's got such a welcoming,
peaceful,
friendly vibe. Like, some woods you can tell want you to camp in them.
Yeah.
Others don't feel like that. This had that feeling the second I walked into it. So me and Emma have viewed quite a few different properties. We were initially looking for a house with land and woodland. Yeah. Realised that was out of our budget.
It just is almost unachievable nowadays. And
like maybe one day, but for now it's just way out of our budget. Like we're living in a 1-bedroom flat in London, and even that is just bankrupting us.
That warrants its own costs. Yeah, it's insane.
And it's just crazy. So like neither of us have much, like in terms of savings or money, but we pulled what we had, and we decided that either we could have a deposit on a small house somewhere that we didn't really want to live, or we could put that money towards a woodland that we can escape to at weekends and get married. And that's what we decided to do, and it took a long time for us to come to that decision. I really didn't want to pressure, because obviously this has been my dream to own a woodland, and I was really careful that I didn't try and pressure to, like, you
wanted it to be organic, and that's why it took so long.
It needed to come from both of us. And it was actually Emma who was like, no, this is good, this is right.
And I think, like, kudos to you guys, because you've chose an absolutely stunning spot. I mean,
it is gorgeous.
It's so peaceful, like,
and quiet.
We haven't heard a car all day.
No.
At all. Like, as soon as I pulled
maybe
off that
one
road,
motorbike gunning it down there. That's all we've heard. But it's just tranquil. It's tranquility. It's peace.
And really well done, Tom. Honestly, because it's, even today we've used it. Like we said, we had to go on the air rifles, put up a nice pellet catch and target.
I've been doing archery here. I've been shooting my compound. It's just having the freedom to do the skills that I want to practice when I want to practice them.
Well, it opens a lot of doors for you, because you've never been close to a woodland, especially where you are in London, like you said, central London, working a 9-to-5 job. Not even 9 to 5. Really.
No, it's longer than that.
But so
8 till 5.
And to get to a woodland, you're already travelling like a good distance. So to do that to your own woodland, where you haven't got to pay a fee, you haven't got to then worry about being found or worried about being moved on. It's just
it's a dream come true, and like I don't want people to like think that it was easy. It was a real, like, it was a big decision, and it was a lot of work, and it was a lot of working out and working at weekends. It was a lot of taking on extra work in the outdoor industry in holidays in order to put money away and save. A fair bit of luck involved as well. Like, we saw a lot of woodlands, and this is the only one that I was wanting to buy. Because I think having the experience of spending a lot of time outdoors and camping in so many different woodlands across
what's to offer
across the country, I know what I want. I thought I'd get to the first woodland I saw, I'd be like, oh, woods, it's got trees, let's buy it. I wasn't at all. I was the opposite. I was really picky, and every other woodland I found a problem with. Didn't find that
I
here.
could be like that with some woodlands. You go in and you're like, there ain't a spot. This is no.
Whereas here, there's spots everywhere.
No, and this is just like we could go 5 meters to the right,
Find another
10
spot.
meters to the left.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you could camp anywhere here. There's
Yeah.
so much deadfall, and it's nice to know that you're going to be custodian of this place, and it's going to, to be here on the first ever camp
Yeah.
you've done, which
So
is
this is the first
yeah.
time I've camped here.
So it's an
And I
honour
got
to
Liam
be here.
I thought there's like, if Emma could have been here with us, that would have been perfect.
Yeah, it would have been
But
nice.
sadly, she had to work
Absolutely.
today, and she didn't want to stop us coming. So bless her.
Well,
She
thank you, Emma.
she was like, no, you got to go get the first camp there.
I
And,
raised my can to you, girl.
Yeah. So cheers, Emma, for for helping me make my dream a reality,
Yeah.
and for supporting me through all this. And
You should be proud.
yeah, it's great. We've now got this as our spot. It's not my woodland; it's our woodland, and
Yeah.
it's me and Emma's.
That's it.
And we're going to spend a lot of time here together, and
Yeah,
I think it would be really good for us.
That's it. It's going to be nice to see it progress and see it develop into, a place where you can run some courses.
Definitely
You
will
can,
be.
Come and film your videos. You can practice your skills.
Yeah,
We can come and do some Wodesman.
100%.
Somewhere a bit more frequent, just for you to come and relax, because you deserve it. You put a lot of work into it.
Oh, thanks, mate.
And it's one of these things with the woods. It's not just you don't just buy a wood. It's like a dog. You don't get a woods for Christmas. It's for life. So
No.
you're going to be managing this, like we said about all the deadwood.
I'll be protecting it.
Your first task will be kind of
Yeah.
selectively taking deadwood, leaving some.
Yeah, which is what we've been doing today.
Yeah.
We've been carefully selecting our firewood. We've mainly gone for ash firewood today, because a few of the ash trees here have been taken down. So we got firewood for days.
Yeah, literally. And it's good using the stuff that's been felled, and leaving the stuff that's already decomposing.
Yeah, we're just leaving anything that's rotten. I'm using just as habitat, and just taking the stuff that's good firewood.
It's been good to see how much fungi there's been lurking
Lots
around.
of fungi actually, and moss.
Good sizes as well.
Yeah.
Some of those, some of those mushrooms are pretty big.
Yeah,
it's nice to
really,
see.
really cool area.
Yeah.
And yeah, we saw deer here today. We saw lots of animal sign,
It's
as we
exciting.
mentioned earlier. So it's really exciting for the prospects of this. I got the sporting rights for the area. I've got the mineral rights. There are no footpaths.
Yeah.
And
And you've only got like a few kind of woodland neighbours, haven't you, as well?
Yeah, we were having a chat to a couple of them, and they're really, really nice
Yeah.
people that actually watch our videos, which
They
is really
do.
cool.
That's
So if you
surprising.
guys are listening, thank you for being nice neighbours.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming over and saying hi as well. That was quite a surprise.
Yeah, it was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, really nice. But it just shows what kind of breed of people own woodlands.
Yeah.
And why it's important that if you do get a woodland, you look after it properly. And if
Yeah.
if you are in a woodland, like if you're wild camping in a woodland,
Look
I
after
guess
it.
that, yeah. And owning a woodland, that probably gives you an even deeper respect for that, doesn't it?
It does, and it's shown me actually like the other side of it. Not in terms of I still fully support wild camping, 100%, but I've always wild camped on big estates and big landowners areas, but rather than sort of small patches.
Yes, same.
And part of the reason for that is there's a lot that goes into these things, and like a small patch like this, it's taken all of my savings. And it's not that I'm like got a silver spoon growing out of me. It's
No, but for someone else to come in and put that at jeopardy through malpractice, kind of like,
and it's
doing
also for
something.
me there's covenants attached.
Yeah.
So like, I've already had a couple of people ask if they can have permission to camp here, and I said I'll be running courses where you can camp here.
Yeah.
And as much as I'd love to give you permission, I can't, because there's covenants permitting me from allowing that.
You have to be here.
One of the covenants is I have to be here,
Yeah.
and I can't allow anyone access unless I'm here. I can't use it as a commercial campsite.
Yes.
So I can run courses, but I can't run it as a commercial campsite. I can't create noise.
Yeah.
So anything that could disturb the other woodland owners, I could be in serious trouble for that.
Yeah, well,
even
and-
down to someone trespassing,
Yeah.
getting hit by a fallen tree.
Yeah.
the person who owns the woodland can actually be in trouble for that, even though
you don't want to step on toes either.
So I think it's just, again, reinforcing what we've always said, is if you're going to wild camp, just do it respectfully. And it's really nice because now I don't have to.
Yeah,
I still will.
And when you do, again, it's going to be you're going to have a deeper respect from it.
Yeah.
Because you're a landowner yourself.
Yeah.
You'll be thinking, not only how do I treat this as a bushcrafter, but if this was my woods, and you can actually do that now. You know, you can actually
because for
relate
me,
to that.
like, I now have a woodland to my name.
Yeah.
But I now don't have a penny to my name. So, but yeah, that's a bit of an aside. But it's like, it's nice to be able to see that side of it, and actually it's given me a deeper understanding and a deeper respect for when I will wild camp, and it will be about really leaving no trace. I always leave no trace, but now it will be, as you say, what would I do in my woods?
Yeah.
And it's making sure that I don't do anything in someone else's woods I wouldn't do in my woods.
Yeah.
And being as safe with the fire as I would be here.
Exactly. And it's nice to kind of be on that journey with you, because it kind of rubs off on me and it gives me ideas for when eventually I get my own wood, because it will happen eventually one day.
Let's hope one of the other bits in here comes up for sale, eh, Liam?
When I don't have a truck, I'll get a wood. No, to be honest, she's been behaving lately, actually.
Yeah, she's looking great. You've put all drawers and stuff in, haven't you?
I will be putting the videos out actually on YouTube. I had a lapse on doing the Navarro stuff. I just put out the head gasket videos, but I did underbody seal the whole truck. Really did kind of the best job you can do on rust protection under there. So a video of that will be coming out. I've built some drawers which I didn't film a video about, but I'll do a little rundown of how they work and stuff afterwards. But it just gives me the versatility to kind of say, what am I going to take this weekend? What extra bits might I need this weekend? Put that all in the drawers, and like, if we need something, it's
so
probably
good
in my drawers.
It's so
I've got the electric system all wired up, so it's been a labour of love. Like you with your kind of woodland, it's something I've always wanted.
Yeah.
Like an overlanding rig. It's going to take me over to the continent hopefully next year.
Awesome.
And in fact, a little secret kind of that I'm going to spill now, haven't mentioned it anywhere else, that I've just added as an upgrade to the fleet, is a caravan. So I've got a little two berth that I'm going to be towing for longer trips and for things like the Wilderness Festival, where I want a little base station.
We want a base, because it can do everything, can't it then?
Yeah, exactly. I can put that off in one of the corners, kind of run the event, and know that I've got somewhere to go back, have a little shower, have a wash, have a good sleep.
Yeah,
and
good
also
for you.
on longer trips, you know, rather than getting a camper van and then having two vehicles or having to sell the truck that I've put so much work into.
Oh, you don't want to do that. It's such a nice truck.
And they go hand in hand. I never used to like the idea of caravans, and it's not going to replace camping by any means for me. But it does allow, let's say, you know, me and Ellie to go on longer trips and have a bit more creature comforts. I guess.
For sure. Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Which is what bushcraft's about, though, isn't it? And camping and everything. It's
about using your bushcraft skills in other ways as well when you're on journeys, so when you're on trips and you're on holidays and adventures and things like that. It's another tool in the toolbox, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a really funny crossover actually, like the whole overlanding thing with bushcraft, because it's like the overlanding's the access, you know, like where like the same for you, how the woodland's the access to bushcraft. It's like the overlanding will be that extension for like us, you know, we go up to Scotland, we have like a base station where we can come back, recharge our cameras in the truck, knowing that it's like got a bit of solar jiggery pokery going on. That I never used to know how it worked, and now I'm like, I actually understand how 12-volt electrics work.
So it's taught you so much
like things about mechanics. My mate Tom obviously does loads of all of my mechanic work, but I'm always there right next to him learning, so it's been a big eye-opener. And although it's not bushcraft, it's like this other
skill set
that pushed me to learn that, which is strange.
No, it's great. And I think that's the great thing about bushcraft, it pushes you to learn other avenues, like the archery, like the compound, not necessarily bushcraft,
woodland management,
but woodland management now, conservation, coppice work, you know, dead hedging, all that sort of thing.
And you can even say, well, actually,
even irrigation of the land.
And I was going to say, you can even say like, what native species can I introduce to better this habitat?
I'm already considering hazel, because I got a few hazels here already, But if I could get a few more, it'd be great.
And they're not like a prolific invasive thing either. So
No.
you're going to be introducing something that's beneficial to the woodland that would have been here at a certain
and
time. So.
I'm here as the custodian of the place, and I will coppice it. I will use the wood, and it will be just an addition.
And
to
it's a
the
nice little
environment.
legacy as well.
Yes, for sure. So a little bit about. Do you mind if I just tell people a little bit about the woods?
I was about to ask what the wood's name is then.
So the wood's called Webwood, as in spider web, which I think has a nice fantasy Lord of the Rings feel to it. So I was originally I was like, maybe I'll change the name, and then I found out what the name of the actual woods was, and I was like, nope, I like it.
Unless it became Wodeswood.
So yeah, Webwood. It's 2.7 acres, but it's set in a bigger woodland. So this is a large woodland that's been split into small chunks for recreational use, and small sort of sustainable projects. So my 2.7 acres is set within, I don't know the exact acreage, 10, 12, maybe even more. All I know is that it feels like a much bigger woodland because everywhere you look, you have nature.
Yes.
And you have trees. So yeah, it's a really cool site. Like, it feels much bigger than it is.
Yeah.
Like, because even though I only own a little square of it, it feels like you're in like a proper nice woodland.
And you say a little square, 2.7 acres. It's not a small square. It is, and it's a good size. You've got so many places to camp in this thing, and the layout of it means that it's kind of extensive.
Yeah, and the trees are just the right width apart for tarps, which is ideal.
Yeah. You could hammock here, tarp here. You could build shelters here.
Yeah, there's a little seasonal stream. It's not here at the moment, but in winter apparently there's a little seasonal stream, and you can see where that is. We're sort of camped next to that because I think it's really nice looking. I have one oak tree. It's a really nice big oak tree.
It's a nice oak tree.
The majority are hornbeam. We've got some poplar, we've got some birch, we've got some hazel,
some ash.
So lots of ash.
Which is
but
nice to see.
But they look fairly healthy. But I am aware that eventually the ash trees in the UK are probably going to get dieback, sadly. And I was very careful to choose a woodland that had ash trees, but that wasn't solely ash. So the vast majority of the trees here are hornbeam and poplar.
Well, at least with dieback even, you're going to have like habitat for crampballs.
Good habitats. There's going to be lots of firewood because ash is a nice firewood. Hornbeam, beautiful, lovely firewood.
It's good.
It's just ideal, mate. It
reminds me of everything I wanted where we camp. And it's got that same feel, like a welcoming. I always find that with hornbeam as well. It's a really kind of I don't know, hardy kind of wood, isn't it? It feels like a very nice. It's really nice. Like the way even the light came through here.
Oh, it's dappled.
It's beautiful. Really nice spot, and the fact that you've managed to secure a place like this, and now get that journey, like you say, you're going onto about kind of managing it. It's going to be so cool because you're going to have to do the selection of if it's got dieback, what do we do with that?
Yes, and I'm going to learn a whole lot because I know a fair bit about trees. I know a lot more about trees than I know about plants. But there is so much more to learn. And managing those trees is going to be really interesting to me.
We've got cool people around us as well, like in our circles, who we can call upon.
Definitely.
Which is amazing. And that's what the journey is going to be so cool for you because, and then you're going to have access to materials to do your carving courses with, which is, it's going to be full homegrown Tom.
I know. And it's going to be really cool sharing it with friends, with other content creators,
even
with
your relatives, your family,
with Emma, all the experiences we're going to have here. But then I do want to run one-to-ones here and support other people and share the skills. I want to have small group courses run here, all sorts of things. Maybe get some guest instructors to come as well.
That'd be nice, because
Liam as well, I'd like you to come and help me with some courses here
whenever you want, honestly. And it's surprisingly accessible. It's only 2 hours from me.
It's about 2 hours from me as well.
So it's not even, it's just a beautiful drive, as soon as you're off the motorway, it's just a gorgeous ride here.
It's very stunning. So we're in East Sussex, and that's my woods.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very proud to call
Come
it
here,
mine.
That's a good firm handshake.
That's
Honestly. And
that's amazing.
Thank you so much for having me on the first camp. I mean, I don't think you realise how kind of special that is as a mate to share that with you.
No, it's a really monumental day today, and it's very, very special, and I'm buzzing.
I bet.
But just before we finish, I'd like to just share a little bit about the process of researching the woods. And
Yeah,
so,
because it is. Oh man, it's such a nightmare. I mean, just quickly before you say how obviously you went through this, I have been looking for woods for the last 10, 15 years. Just always browsing, not looking to buy one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I definitely would have found one. But there's, it's crazy how the increase in price has dramatically shot up over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Incredibly. You're looking at woods that were 20, 30 grand becoming 80 grand woods. But the other thing is the actual amount of woods that are on the market has significantly declined.
Oh,
because
it really
there seems
has.
to be a lot more people now, and it's really good. Not so good if you're looking to buy them, because there's less choice. But it's nice to know that woods are going to people like you.
Yeah. People that are going to look after them and keep them as woodland.
Yeah,
as well.
and it can be really hard to find them in the UK that that are decent wood, like you said, in a part of a bigger block. A lot of them are little fringe strips.
Yeah.
And then when you're in an acre or a 2 or 3 acre woodland on a strip, and it's just on its own in the middle of a field, you kind of feel like an isolated little
and it
thin
doesn't
woodland.
feel like you're in a forest.
Yeah.
Whereas this does.
Yeah. So that's I was just going to say, it's the number one thing that I always look for in a woods, you've already done, is kind of trying to find one in a bigger wood if you can.
And you said you had a look at one for a while, and it was just too near the motorway for you.
I mean, it's still there now, and I'm sure it's for that reason. The motorway bridge is probably 50 yards away.
Yeah.
And
it would just spoil it.
Yeah, so you just know that constant drone of
yeah.
And
spoils your videos, it spoils your peace when you're trying to relax.
And it's such a gorgeous woods as
it's
well.
such a shame.
Yeah.
It's such a shame.
It's so annoying. And it's one of the only woods in my county for sale.
Yeah.
Literally. The only
So
woods
I
in
made
my
sure
county.
when I looked at this, I looked into all the planning applications in the local area, all what the highways are planning, all of that stuff. It's worth looking into it or getting a good solicitor to help you research all that stuff.
So you're not buying a wood where they're going to put a road through?
100%. And they have to declare it, if there are plans for that. So make sure your solicitor is on it, of really researching planning applications in the area.
Yeah.
So we made sure we did all that before
Otherwise
we put
you could
our
be next to
hard-earned
Centre
funds
Parks.
down.
Yeah.
We made sure that we chose a woodland that's in an area of outstanding natural beauty, and we chose one in an area where it would be incredibly difficult for anyone to get residential planning permission in the woods, because obviously there are other owners that own bits,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be next to someone's house.
Yeah.
So I wanted a woods that was almost impossible to get any planning permission on.
Yeah.
The farm field behind the woods that backs the edge of one of the corners of my little square, it's down as agricultural land, and it would be very hard for them to change the use of that.
Yes. Yeah. Especially while it's been used.
As it is a farm, and it is agricultural land. So all this stuff plays into your decision making.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I saw a couple of other woods, well, quite a few actually, and other bits of land, some fields as well. I looked at just fields as well as woods, and some of them just didn't have the right vibe.
No, there's a lot of that. A lot of it is in the feeling of the place. You kind of go there, you get a good judge for it. You've got to go and see them. You can't do these things on a whim.
And I saw one, and I really wasn't convinced by the health of the trees.
Right.
They just didn't look healthy. There was something about the trees, and I looked at some of the spruce that were in that wood, and there were lines of sap.
Right.
And pretty bad welts coming out of the tree. And I was like, I'm not sure, but that could be spruce beetle.
Yeah.
And like even that doubt, like I would have, if I was actually considering that woodland, I would have had to get a survey done on the trees.
Yeah. Of course.
But it wasn't right.
No.
It just didn't sing to me. Whereas the second I walked into this one, I knew it was the woods I wanted to have.
Yeah, and it's like, if anything, it's just been left to do what a wood does, which is
be a
the
woodland.
beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's
And it's really natural. There's moss everywhere. There's ferns. It's lovely.
Yeah, it is.
Another quick funny story about one viewing that me and Emma did. This is just a little funny side note. Is we went to view a woodland that was quite near civilization, and it was quite near a bunch of houses. And there was one house near it, and I won't say where it is or dob the house in it or whatever, but it had quite a lot of like machinery and like tumbled down buildings and sort of barbed wire, and it didn't look particularly friendly house.
Just nonchalant kind of
low key horror vibes. And then there were signs that said, "You won't outrun my Alsatian."
Oh, great.
Great. No
great
trespassing.
Great neighbours.
Yeah, no trespassing. All this stuff, like massive red signs all over. And like the estate agent told us to pull into this house to access the woods, so you had to use their drive.
No.
And then they'd blocked the woodland track, so we couldn't actually get the car onto the woodland track that didn't belong to them because they'd blocked it with all their pickups.
Oh no.
And I was like, I don't really get a good vibe from this place. I'm feeling I might be shot at with a shotgun in a minute.
Yeah.
So
neighbours are going to block me from my own wood.
Me and Emma have only got a little front wheel drive Peugeot.
Up and around.
And so I was like, we could, I'll tell you what, Emma, let's just turn the car around and we'll go and park and walk back in, because I don't really want to leave my car here.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't feel right. So she goes and turns it around, and she goes up on the grass slightly.
Oh no. I remember you telling me this.
It really rained. It really rained, and it was a dip, and the car just started to roll down the dip.
Oh, no.
And then Emma like slammed it into reverse and put her foot down, and the wheels were just like spinning. And I was on their bloody lawn and flipping churning up this no trespassing place, ripping it up. I had to get out of the car, mud showered everywhere. I'm rugby scrumming the car, trying to get it out of this ditch, and it's just going deeper and deeper into these holes that the wheels have made at the front, getting no tread at all. In the end, we put some like rocks behind the front wheels.
Good man.
And then I pushed the car like full, as much strength as I could get, while she gently like played with the accelerator.
Good man.
Got it to hit the rocks, got some grip, and got it out of the holes. And the devastation we caused, mate, it was like the Somme. It was like, I was like, oh my god, we are actually going to get killed here, like, because they're going to come home. And so we drove and parked the car. I felt so bad. I was like, so really am sorry to whoever that lawn was. It's just they'd blocked the entrance to the woods, so there was nowhere we could get our car up
it's a
there.
bit rude,
and it's like, now we're in here, we have to turn around. The estate agents had told us to go in there. The only place we could turn around was using a bit of the grass, and it was just a bog. Like, it looked solid until we got the car on it, and it was just a bog.
That's always the way, Tom.
So,
Trust
like,
me, that is always the way.
After a bit of like a panicked rescue of the Peugeot, we went and parked further up down the lane, where we knew we wouldn't get stuck. Walked back into the no trespassing sign.
Yep.
The trespassers will be shot. The you won't outrun my Alsatian. Looking at the devastation on the grass where we'd just caused. Went and looked around the woods. There was actually a load of rubbish and chairs left in the woods that we were looking at buying. And it was obvious that the people that owned the house were just using it as their own.
Nah.
And I was just like, nah.
Nope.
I was like, there's no point us looking anymore, because I know that we would just end up really stressed and in a worse situation by owning this.
They just take the mick.
And just as we were leaving, the owners of the house came back.
Oh no.
And we had to walk past them just as they pulled in, and they stopped their car right by all of the tyre tracks on the grass. I was like, just look cool. We walked past them like really like cool, and as soon as we got out, we were like, leg it! Just like absolutely gunned it for the car. It was funny.
Oh no.
So yeah, a little funny story of a haphazard viewing of a woodland. So,
but vibes are always always a very
trust your
important thing to
gut,
follow.
because
Definitely.
it didn't feel right from the very
It's-
second we pulled in.
It saved me a few times when I've been camping. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes you don't get the right vibe, and it's just follow your gut.
That's why it's really important to not rush into things like that, and that's
Yeah.
why it does take
It's
a long time.
taken us a long
It does
time.
take a long
A
time.
long time.
That's why I'm
and-
still where I am. And it's,
But the right one will come along.
Yeah.
You'll get the same vibe I got from this place,
Absolutely.
and it'll be the right price. It'll be the right place, and it'll be
yeah,
it'll
and
be good.
I just need the right bit of luck.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier, and we were like, "Oh, imagine having this during lockdown."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, but if I'd bought a woods in lockdown, I wouldn't have bought this woods,
Mhm.
because this woods wasn't for sale then,
Yeah.
and then I would have probably not been as happy. I would have probably had a
Everything
nice woods,
does
but I
happen for
don't
a
think I
reason.
could have done better for the money for this than this place."
I can't wait to see what you do with it. Honestly.
So yeah, I mean, it's just a bit of a waffle between me and Liam today, but
I've really
I
enjoyed
thought
it.
we'd share this like really exciting news and catch you guys up. And
It's been such a cool conversation though, just catching up. Yeah, like you said, literally, because we don't get the chance to do this. Like honestly, listeners, me and Tom, when we see each other, it's like a pretty big thing.
it is, and like
And it's
we
a shame.
both work full on, like
So hard.
we don't. When I'm working, I have the holidays. I can't complain about that.
No, and me too. I
But
have time off, and you know.
When I'm at work, I am pedal to the metal. I don't get a chance to like do anything. I work.
There's a lot behind the scenes. We both run YouTube channels. We both run Instagram. We both do this.
Yeah.
You know, the Wodesman.
I'm running courses. I'm doing risk assessments.
We're
I'm
both in
doing.
relationships. We both have families. Like
Yeah.
my parents are aging, and I want to spend as much time as I can with them,
Yeah.
and I still don't.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
life gets so
Yeah.
busy.
And it's a constant balancing act.
Yeah.
So when me and Liam actually get to sit down
Literally,
and
it's
record a
just
Wodesman, it's always such a good thing.
Yeah, I never know what topic to kind of carry on with them.
Yeah, and like people might think that we fake all that, hey bro, and
No.
but it's actually completely genuine. It's because like we might have talked on the phone, but that's not the same.
No, definitely not. It's always,
And even during work, sometimes it's like you'll ring me and I'm on my walk back from work and I've had a busy day and I'm just absolutely exhausted.
or we just end up talking about the day.
Yeah.
That stuff for the day, don't we?
Yeah.
Don't even get to catch up on like the general like catch up.
Yeah.
We don't even get that.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and it's been nice to meet your brother Sam.
Yeah, well, he's off to Vietnam soon, so
Yeah.
he just got back from Thailand and he did loads of outdoor stuff there, like
He's a right
hikes.
little
and-
traveller.
Yeah, and now he's got the bug for it, so he's going back to Vietnam. So
Oh, I'm very,
pretty cool.
very
So
jealous.
hopefully we'll get out and see him there, and we've got a little adventure of our own coming up as well. Me and him are heading to the States for
You
a
are
little,
indeed.
little lads trip. We're going to Vegas,
It's going to be so nice for you two.
and we're also going to do some hiking and some walking and some glamping. So that should be pretty cool. And gun clubs, obviously, because me and firearms.
Yeah. You're going to Bass Pro for me, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to Bass Pro Cabela's. I want to go to some like cigar bars, get some piping,
So
do some
all
pipes.
of you American listeners out there, if any of you are in the area of kind of, well, I'll let you say the rough area because I don't want to.
Yeah, we're going to be
Pinpoint.
in Vegas
There
for
we
most
are.
of it, and then out to Zion.
So if you're in that area and you see a Mr. Tom, give him a wave and a holler.
Yeah, please do.
And yeah, it'd be
And be
awesome.
kind.
Do be kind. You'll be there in a few weeks.
Yeah, I'm
so-
very excited. It's going to be good. And I've been planning this trip with my brother for about 5 years, actually. It was me and my mate Joe. He was an air steward before he died, and he was always
Yeah, rest in peace.
telling me, absolutely, like he was such a lovely guy, and he was an air steward, so he'd go out to Vegas all the time, and he'd go out to the national parks and the Grand Canyon and things, and he went to the shooting clubs out there,
Hey.
and he'd come back with all these photos and stories and pictures and stuff. And it was one of the last things we talked about was actually, he was like, "You got to come to Vegas with me, Tom." And he was like, "Get your brother Sam to come."
That's amazing.
And so we talked about that, and that was one of our last sort of conversations. So this is sort of in his honour,
in memory.
and yeah, it's going to be very special, and I'm looking forward to it.
I bet you are, man, and you're doing justice. You're going to have an amazing time. It's
Probably
like
be bevved up most of the time, except for when I'm in control of an AR-15. I'll be
Oh,
completely
man.
sober for that bit.
I can't wait to hear it. So look, you guys, if you see Tom out there on your journeys and his brother Sam, give him a holler. And yeah, as always, a big thank you for listening, because I've enjoyed so much just sitting down here with you, Tom.
Oh, it's been a
your
great
own
chat,
woodland,
mate. Really, really special day.
having a chance to catch up with chew the fat and just
Bat the chew.
bat the chew and get another episode out. It's good. So
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I hope you guys are excited about the prospects of me owning my own woodland and what that does in terms of courses and videos and Wodesman episodes as well.
There'll be a lot more stuff coming out, I'm sure, from this very woodland. It's not going to stop from here on out. So yeah, I guess down below they'll probably, if you're listening on Spotify, I'll probably chuck up a little Q&A. So if there's anything you want us to talk about on the podcast, please do put a little message down there, or in the link in the podcast description there's a way to send a message. Just send it over, and because we always love to know what you guys want us to have a chat about. There's so many things we can talk about, and more often than not there's so much going on in our lives that we end up just talking about what's going on, which involves so many subjects. So it's nice, like today it's covered archery, air rifles, woodland management. It's been nice, hasn't it?
Woodland education, like outdoor education, we talked about that as well. So we've covered a lot of topics today, but if there's anything specific that you guys want to hear, like a topic that you want to learn about, we'll do our best to accommodate. We'll read up, we'll do our homework,
and like I said,
bring you guys some good content.
Hopefully have a podcast on Lyme's disease.
That'd be amazing. Well. I think it's a really important thing. I've had ticks on me before. I've been lucky, but I think with your scare with this whole incident, I think it's worth us doing an episode on it and educating, and also just raising awareness of it, because it's so easy. Any of us could have got an infected tick. Like we've been on the ground today, and like we've been lying down with our air rifles taking shots.
But we're quite vigilant, and again, it's something we'll touch on in the episode. It's it's not, we don't want to scare people of the woods. They're not like everywhere.
Just check yourself.
But you got to check yourself, and hopefully we'll have a really exciting guest on for that one. But we'll keep you updated as
how does that song go? Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Oh yeah. Go on, boy. Awesome. Well, look, man. Thank you so much, guys. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think we need another beer and to get the steaks on the fire.
Yeah, oh man, we still got dinner. That's the best news.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
And s'mores.
And that fire's crackling away. Sam's been building that up in the background. Thank you, mate.
No worries at all.
He's probably starved.
He is. Let's get going, eh?
He's bloody starving. Right, we're going to go feed my brother. You guys stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you soon, guys.